Hey everybody, it's Will here. I just got back from Aquaman. Theater's about 5 minutes away. So I just got out of Aquaman and just thought I'd share kind of my initial impressions. Yeah, so I liked it. Yeah, that's kind of the first thing that comes to mind when talking about Aquaman. But I liked it specifically, I mean, for a lot of reasons, which I'll kind of get into. But I liked it specifically because it felt like its own film rather than just pure franchise extension. I think that as these superhero movies, whether they be Marvel or DC, become more and more common, there's kind of the temptation, I would say, to just, put out an empty husk of a movie, put all the, regular tropes and such of a superhero film and just force it out there, make your money, and I think that some movies have fallen into that. I'm not going to point fingers, but there's a lot of kind of the earlier Phase 1 Marvel movies sort of did that to me a little bit. They weren't necessarily bad, but they did feel a little bit artificial. And so what I think that just really, really kind of caught me off guard and made me kind of excited about this movie was that this very much feels like James Wan had his fingerprints all over it. He's previously done the Conjuring films, which are horror movies, but it's still, for some reason, it feels like the same guy who made those in its own weird way. I think it's mostly just the deftness of the editing, the strength in sound design, and just he understands what pops visually. I mean, obviously, like in something like The Conjuring, something's much scarier than what you see in Aquaman, but he knows how to set up a scene and how to make something kind of just explode and sort of jump out at you. And in this case, for a much more kind of superhero-y, kind of thrilling sort of way. So I think that's kind of my first thing. This very much feels like his movie. Like, he had complete creative control, and yeah, I really appreciated that. Visually, this thing's breathtaking. Like, wow. It reminded me a little bit, and this is going to sound bad, but it reminded me a little bit of Phantom Menace. You know how there's that one shot where Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Jar Jar are swimming, and then there's, like, the Gungan city, and, I mean, obviously there's a lot of stupidity surrounding the Gungans and Jar Jar and all that, and it's... Phantom Menace isn't great, but that one shot is really, really cool, and it's like, it visually kind of catches you off guard. This is that times 10 in a lot of ways. Like, there's just so much color and so much, like, visual creativity going on, like, just there's sharks that have lasers, kind of remind me a little bit of the whole Dr. Evil thing from Austin Powers. But yeah, he's just doing a lot of stuff, James Wan, as a director. And it's really cool. So visually, I felt like I really got my money's worth out of it. The fight scenes, wow. They're really well choreographed. There's a little bit of usage of that kind of Snydery slow-mo. It's not used as much as some of Zack Snyder's movies, though. Let me think here. Yeah, so it's just, it wasn't as predominant to me. But it was still pretty cool. The characters were great, Aquaman. I mean, if you've seen Justice League, you already know he's a lot of fun. Mara was awesome. Like, she was kicking butts and taking names. Yeah, she was great. I'm trying to think here. Oh yeah, Black Manta. I was a little, like, kind of iffy about him at parts. He's pretty corny, and that actually kind of will segue nicely into what I want to talk about next. But he had some really cool scenes, and I really like the way that they translated his comic book appearance pretty directly into film. I feel like he's the kind of character that you would, like, water down, no pun intended, but you would kind of water down in a way to look less corny. And they didn't, and they just kind of went with it, and I thought it was really cool. But I think I unfortunately think that corniness is what's going to turn a lot of people off of this movie, because it is a little bit cheesy. And it's fine. I think it's kind of winkingly cheesy, like, they know that it's cheesy, they know that it's fun, they know that it's kind of dumb in places. There's a lot of good, like, kind of self-aware gags, and there's quips pretty, like, well-paced, like, nothing that, robs the scene of tension or excitement or anything. But yeah, it's a little bit cheesy, like specifically for me, and this might just be me, but like there's scenes like where people are talking underwater and they'll kind of just start like swimming away, and it looks a little bit funny. But I got used to it, but I also think that sort of corniness and just weirdness of it might turn some people off from liking it. But I mean, I really hope it doesn't, because it was a lot of fun. It had a good heart to it too. You know, there's just there was sort of a sweetness to it that I wasn't really expecting either. You know, whether that be with Arthur and Mara, or you know, I can't go into all the details or anything. You know, lest I get into spoiler territory. But yeah, that had a big heart. Thought it was visually really, really awesome. And I also think it's just the kind of movie that DC is going to need to make more of just going into the future. Something that has its kind of own sense of uniqueness to it and is very much the product of a singular vision rather than just pure franchise extension. Yeah, I'm really hoping that just kind of going forward, DC puts out more movies like this. Because I had a great time. I had a really, really good time. Had a big dumb smile on my face, both in the theater and walking out of it. Yeah, it was a great movie. Great time. I definitely recommend going to see it. Just know that it's gonna be a little bit corny, but just stick with it. Yeah. All right. Cool.